I'm Jay Doolin, Director of Professional Services at the Foundation for Educational Administration. Delighted to welcome Dr. Barbara Sargent and Kathleen Koop from the Madison School District, who presented a terrific workshop at our fall convention just this morning. Very interested in this topic that you presented, developing a school culture focused on literacy. Barbara, maybe you could tell me, how do you begin to establish a school climate that focuses on literacy?
It really encompasses so many different areas, and one of the things that Kathy and I tried to really focus on with our group this morning was the budget piece and how where you spend your money and where you plan to spend your money matters. From a leadership perspective, administratively, whether you're in charge of a building or whether you're in charge of a department, what decisions you make that really come back to literacy. From a professional development aspect, and I think that's what Kathy's been really great at in her school, what are decisions that you make that will really strengthen literacy instruction in your building?
And how has that played out in your building, Kathy?
Well, what I've done as far as our faculty meetings that we have at least once a month, if not twice a month, any faculty meeting time that we have is dedicated to professional development. Often those topics involve literacy, as well as professional learning community topics and how we can improve student learning, how we can improve our instruction. So the focus goes from going through a list of agenda items during a faculty meeting to using that time effectively so teachers can grow and learn as educators. And in the process, I also grow and learn too.
What can you describe some of the specific strategies of the program that some of our viewers might be interested in implementing themselves if they can?
Sure. We focused a lot of our time this morning on demonstrating how a book study can really change the climate of the school, and Kathy had some very nice examples of things that she's done. She's done book studies where she's chosen one book for the whole staff to be reading, but then on a district level we also offer optional after-school workshops in the district, and some of those might be book studies. And in that instance it may be a teacher who is maybe just a few chapters ahead in the book. You don't have to have written the book to manage the book study, and so they'll just lead their colleagues through maybe over 4 Wednesdays in a row after school, just reading through that book. And not only do the book studies really enhance everyone's knowledge base and understanding, but it also lends to their professional collection as well. And I think as teachers, when we look at, especially in the teaching of reading and writing, it's not just one author or one program. It's really how you mesh all of that together. And so I think the stronger a teacher's professional collection is, the more really masters they have to base their decisions on.
And I've involved many different parts of our school district community in book studies. So I've had parent book studies, I've had teacher book studies. As administrators, we've participated in book studies. And so our goals within those book studies is always to learn something, of course, but also how can we convey that information that we've learned to the greater community? How can everyone learn from these things? For example, as far as parents, we read together The 7 Keys of Comprehension by Susan Zimmerman, and what a great book study that was for the parents, because they left that book study once it was completed with information that they could use at home with their children. So it was just such a wonderful growing experience for everyone.
And how do you think the program impacts on student achievement?
Well, we've seen, and I've done this through a number of schools now, that when teachers are focused on conversations about literacy and what good reading instruction, good writing instruction looks like, then their classroom instruction changes for the better. And when classroom instruction is strong and there's a real focus on how do we get kids to be reading more and reading longer, we know from research that students become stronger readers and stronger writers, and that all ends back up in high achievement and test scores in the end. So it's really just all part of a link where strong conversation leads to stronger instruction, leads to stronger kid readers, leads to greater achievement.
And I think in particular for the Madison School District, it's all about what kind of learning are we observing in the classrooms? What is the data that we're receiving learning? And we always build upon there. So we're always looking at the learning that's accomplished and then improving our instruction from there. So the main goal is always how to boost student achievement, how to get it up as high as it possibly can be. That's
Well,
our
that's
focus.
terrific. And I assume you have good results because of this?
Absolutely.
We,
We do. We're very
do.
proud of our results.
And Kathy and I are at a point now in our community where we've been there for a number of years. So we really have been able to now sit back and, you know, there's the qualitative data that you take from just watching the instruction in the classroom, talking with parents about how they've seen the instruction change over the years as they've had multiple children come through the schools. But now we're at a point where we have test data and even in-district assessment data over the years that really has grown each year, and that's just so rewarding for us.
Well, that's terrific. And how long does it take to get a program like this in place and into the school's culture?
Kathy pretty much started
Right away.
her first month at school. I think the pieces can begin right away.
Sure.
When do you finally start to feel like that it's humming and moving? I think that really varies by community. Kathy's school is a beautiful, lovely, smaller elementary school. So I would say you probably saw it very quickly.
I will say that, but I think the success is determined by your ability as a leader to get everyone involved in the decision making and the process. And I think in the long run, you will be more successful as an administrator, your teachers will feel more successful, and you'll see more progress if everyone's involved from the very beginning.
Well, great. Thank you for sharing your success with us today.
It's our pleasure.
Yeah,
Thank you.
yes, thank you.